Now, I've heard of Peter, Paul, and Mary before. I reacted to their version of the Bob Dylan classic, Blowin' in the Wind. But I haven't really taken the time to understand who these people were individually, what they stood for, and why they mattered. And the deeper I looked, the more I realized this wasn't just a folk group. You had Peter Yarrow, the idealist, the activist spirit, the guy who really believed music could help change the world. One of those guys. Then there was Noel Paul Stuckey, the arranger, the musician's musician, the guy helping hold all those harmonies and ideas together. And then, of course, Mary Travers, that voice. Calm, powerful, authoritative. When Mary sang, people listened. What made Peter, Paul, and Mary important is that they helped bring folk music and protest music into the American mainstream. This wasn't underground coffee house music anymore. This was national conversation music. These were people connected directly to the Civil Rights era. They performed at the March on Washington, the same historic event where Martin Luther King Jr. gave his I Have a Dream speech. And they were also among the first major artists helping bring Bob Dylan's songwriting to the masses. So these weren't just singers. These were cultural messengers. Now, the song I'm about to react to, El Salvador. This is one of those songs that shows Peter, Paul, and Mary never stopped caring about what was happening in the world. This song deals with the violence and political turmoil happening in El Salvador during the Cold War era, and the debate surrounding America's involvement in Central America at the time.
There's a sunny little country south of Mexico, where the winds are gentle and the waters low. But breezes aren't the only things that blow in El Salvador. If you took the little lady for a moonlight drive, odds are still good you'd come back alive. But everyone is innocent until they arrive in El Salvador. If the rebels take a bus on the Grand Highway, and government destroys a village miles away, the man on the radio says, now we'll play south of the border. And in the morning the natives say, we're happy you have lived another day. Last night 1,000 more passed away in El Salvador. Television crew here from ABC, filming Rio Lampa and the refugees, calling murdered children the tragedy of El Salvador. Before the government camera 20 feet away, another man is asking for continued aid, food and medicine and hand grenades for El Salvador. There's a thump, a rumble in the building sway. A soldier fires the acid spray. The public address system starts to play south of the border. You run for cover and hide your eyes. You hear the screams for paradise. They've fallen further than you realize in El Salvador. La 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 la. Russian friends. Junta is assisted by Americans. And if $60 million seems too much to spend in El Salvador, they say for $500 million they could do it right. Bomb all day and burn all night until there's not a living thing upright in El Salvador. They'll continue training troops in the USA and watch the nuns that got away and teach the military bands to play south of the border and kill the people to set them free who put this price on their liberty. Don't you think it's time to leave El Salvador? There's a sunny little country south of Mexico where the winds are gentle and the waters low. But breezes aren't the only things that blow in El Salvador. If you took the little lady for a moonlight drive, odds are still good you'd come back alive. But everyone is innocent until they arrive in El Salvador. If the rebels take a bus on the Grand Highway and government destroys a village miles away, the man on the radio says now we'll play south of the border. And in the morning the natives say, we're happy you have lived another day. Last night 1,000 more passed away in El Salvador.
Man, this was really interesting stuff. Honestly, at first, I struggled connecting the warmth of the melody to the heaviness of the subject matter. But the more I listened, the more I realized that the contrast is actually part of what makes this song work. Brilliant. Because Peter, Paul, and Mary don't approach this like an angry political anthem. They approach it like a human story. The melody pulls you in gently instead of beating you over the head. And that made me listen much more carefully. What really grabbed my attention, though, was the perspective. The song is trying to bring you closer to the plight of the Salvadoran people. Not just the politics, not just headlines, but actual human beings caught inside violence and instability. And I think that's why this resonated very deeply with me. It doesn't feel distant. It feels personal. There's a clear emotional buildup happening throughout the song that was palpable. It keeps unfolding layer by layer. And by the end, the emotional weight lands much harder than it did at the beginning. And those vocals, completely invested. Nobody sounds detached. Nobody sounds performative. You really believe that they care about what they're talking about here. I love when artists take on difficult, complicated, uncomfortable subjects. I think it says a lot about them. It shows that they're willing to use their voices for something much bigger and more important than mere entertainment. Even if you don't agree with every conclusion, there's something powerful about artists willing to engage with the world around them. I respect that. This worked for me. Informative, interesting, engaging. I really loved the writing and the perspective. Some songs entertain you, others ask something of you. I thoroughly enjoyed this song.